Hey, we're back. Welcome to episode 2, Cox Team Podcast. I'm your realtor, Keelan Cox. I'm here with my brother,
Michael Cox.
Hey, and this is Cox Team Podcast. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome back. Episode 2, Cox Team Podcast. Your realtor, Keelan Cox, here with
Michael Cox.
Hey, we're going to get right into it. So, this is what we're doing today. We're going to talk about the current state of the market, and we're going to tell you what's been going on ever since COVID-19 has been taking place. It's been a wild up and down year. It started out really shaky, but things are kind of stabilized. So we're going to get right into it and ask my brother how things been going for him in the market, and then he's going to turn around and ask me those same questions. All right, so first question that I have for you, Mike, tell me, how has COVID have been affecting your business?
Like you said, it started off slow, but as things started to kind of adjust a little bit, we started to see differences. We started to see a lot of positive traction. One of the big reasons for that is the interest rates are ridiculously low. With them being so low, what's happening is now you're getting so many more people that's qualified, so many more people that's able to get a better mortgage on their home. What's beneficial by that is if you get a lower interest rate, that monthly mortgage payment and your overall payment amount ends up being a lot less than what it would have been. So with that being the case, I'm not at a shortage of buyers at all. Really, it's the opposite. I have so many buyers and not enough homes on the market. I'm not sure the last time you looked on the MLS, but I noticed that it was like around 800, 820 the other day. And that's just ridiculously low. As far as homes that are on the market on the Gainesville MLS system. So ultimately, I will say on the positive note, been really busy, and which is always a good thing when we're in real estate. So I won't complain about that, but it hasn't had that much of a negative effect that like most people would think, like other businesses are struggling. So I'm thankful for it. I'm blessed for it. What about you? How's everything been going on your end?
Well, things have been, like I said, it's been an up and down year. The year started off a little shaky because I think they were trying to figure out, how we're going to play the COVID and how the economy is going to roll with everyone not working, and the COVID really taking effect as far as people getting sick. So earlier in the year, it was a little shaky. Things kind of stabilized, and like you said, there's a lack of inventory on the market. We're really low. So, just playing out, if you're looking to sell your home, now is the best time to do it because we're really low inventory. But at the same time, those interest rates are low. And what's good about those low interest rates is historically, interest rates were around, anywhere 15 to 17% in the mid 80s. And right now we're like extremely low, under 4%. So take advantage of those interest rates. But at the same time, if you know anyone looking to sell their home, now is a good time to do it. I've been really busy and blessed to be busy during this COVID-19 because not a lot of realtors knew how to adjust to it. But I've been really busy and blessed to be busy. I had a lot of closings. I got closings coming up. I have plenty of buyers, plenty of people being pre-approved every day. But without the inventory there, we're just at a standstill. So if you are looking to sell your home, please give us a call. Let us know, when can we come out? When can we see it? What can we do to help you get that home sold? And I would think, with the shortage of homes that are out there, new construction will be the more dominant type of home. But new construction is kind of slow, tapered off a little bit because I think they're trying to find areas where they actually can build. And that kind of takes some time as far as regulations and things like that. So it's kind of taught. It's been a mixed bag, but it's been pretty good for me.
But one thing I noticed, especially with new construction, I actually have something coming up with a new construction property within the next few weeks. And one thing that happened is you have noticed some delays in the new construction. You have noticed inventory as far as like getting materials. It's been a little slow. It's been push things back. You've noticed getting permits it's been slow from that standpoint of it as well. So like you said, it's definitely up and down. When we say up, we're saying up because as realtors, you always want to have as many clients as possible. And that's the biggest thing. We're not at a shortage of people who are looking to buy. and that's a good thing. But ultimately, it's definitely been up and down. So I have a question for you. Right now, would you consider it a buyer's market, seller's market, or both?
Actually, it's both. Pretty much from everything we just talked about. I would like to dive in, the interest rates part and how it makes your payment lower as a home buyer. So basically, by having low interest rates, that means you're paying less money on the loan or the money that you're borrowing from the bank. So with that being said, you can really pay your principal down really fast, which makes the time that you actually in home ownership lessens the amount of time it takes you to pay off the home, because most of the money is going towards your principal balance versus the money that they're actually making on the loan. So having low interest rates really helps you as the buyer if you as the buyer didn't understand how that works. I get a lot of questions from buyers saying, hey, if I put a lot of money down, does that make my payment low? Not necessarily true. What makes your payment low is having that low interest rates and having a good insurance premium and low taxes. That's what makes your payment actually lower. So it's not like a car payment where you put a lot of money down, which makes your payment lower. It's other factors, or your principal, your interest, your taxes, and your insurance that actually makes up your mortgage payment, which will make your payment low ultimately. So just to answer that question, as far as how does having low interest rates help you, the buyer, that is the way, because it makes, the money that you're actually paying back on the loan, it makes it a lower amount. So they're not making this ton of money on you from the back end of the loan, which in 30 years it becomes a lot of money.
And so to kind of piggyback on what he's saying, if you have two people who are buying a $200,000 house, and with that $200,000 house, you have one person with let's say 4% interest rate, and the other person has a 6% interest rate, you'd be amazed how much, first off, monthly, you'll see a difference as far as payment, and then also on the overall loan, throughout the entirety of the loan, there's a huge difference in payments amount. So just because someone tells you, hey, I got this $200,000 house and my mortgage payment is, $1,200 a month, that doesn't necessarily mean yours would be. So that's why credit is a huge thing. And just for in the future, we're going to actually bring people on to speak about credit and speak about lending as well, to really dive into that aspect of it. Another good thing about the interest rate, is not just beneficial for buyers. I've definitely had people that came to me and told me that they cut their 30-year mortgage into a 15-year mortgage because they refinanced. Refinancing with these interest rates could be beneficial. So if you've recently purchased a home, it can be, within the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, it doesn't hurt to kind of, reach out to a lender.
Explore those options.
Yeah, and see exactly what they can do. And that's something that me and Keelan can help you with. We're not the lenders, but we have a great deal of really good lenders that can help us, with that. So if that's something that you may be interested in, if you already a homeowner, the interest rates is not just beneficial for the buyers. It's also beneficial for people who already own their home and they're looking to refinance and be able to get a better rate. So rather be cutting their mortgage down, or it could be saving a couple $100s a month on your monthly mortgage. So you just pretty much have options. And that's one of the really big benefits of home ownership. It gives you so many different options in so many different areas, and that's what helps with this whole generational wealth that me and Keelan like to talk about a lot.
That's exactly what we're talking about. So let's, we've talked about buyers a lot. Let's talk to the sellers about things, what they can do to kind of prepare their home for the home selling process. Because, any tips that people can get, one, can help you get your house ready, and two, make the selling process easier for you, so you can know exactly what you need instead of kind of going with, heightened expectations. So one of the things that I like to tell all my sellers that are getting ready to sell their home, declutter the house. Try to get rid of as much stuff as possible that does not make the house look, cluttered. So when people are coming in to actually look at the home, they can kind of get an idea where they can put their couch, where they can move their furniture. Does this furniture fit for them, and how the house actually looks, versus when everything is in there and then you don't get a really good idea, then the house shows bad. You could have a great home, but if it's have a lot of things in there, it makes the possible buyer, sometimes it makes them feel like maybe their furniture can't fit. Maybe this house is not the one for you, or it doesn't allow you to highlight those great qualities about your house that you want to show the buyer while they're there. Maybe you have some great wood floors, hardwood floors that you want to show the buyer. Maybe you have great countertops. Maybe your cabinets, are lighted or something at the bottom. It could be a whole host of things that, you could love about your house. But if the house is cluttered and the buyer can't get a real good visual of how they can see themselves living here, because buying a home, it is a feeling as well as a financial decision. The person has to feel that they can be there for the next, 5 to 10 years or maybe even longer, even though the average home buyer lives in the house around 7 to 10 years. So, people have to see themselves living there. And if your house is really cluttery or, just have a lot of things everywhere, it just makes the process a little bit harder, which could extend the time that your house is on the market for sale, which ultimately may not be a good thing for you if you're a person that's looking to get the max amount of money in the less amount of time.
And just to jump in on that too, landscaping. Your landscaping, and whether it be painting or pressure washing your home. Those are two things that are very, very beneficial as sellers. If you're looking to sell your home, you want to make sure that the grass is cut. You'll be amazed at some of the homes that we do see where it looks like it's a forest when you walk up to the house.
I mean, it's almost like, imagine yourself when you're driving by a house, right? If you can see, the house from the road, that's ultimately a good thing, because that's the first thing you see,
curb appeal, right,
when you're driving by a house, how the outside look. So, your landscaping is very important. Pressure washing your home, something as simple, that simple, can make you an extra $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 on the sale of your home just by pressure washing your house, because it's one less thing that the potential buyer has to do, which ultimately makes your home more valuable to them.
Right. So again, when you're digging deeper into the selling aspect of your home, just think about it when you first purchased the home. What was your mindset? What did you think about? What were the things that just kind of stuck out to you? What were the things that sold you on that home? And if you look into those things and not just look at the fact that, it is, again, it's hard to say if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, but as a benefit to the sellers, you can definitely look at it as a seller's market. There are times where you're getting into multiple offer situations. I've had a couple of possible transactions that didn't go through for me just because I was an hour late, or maybe the type of financing that was going on. So ultimately, what's going on in the current state of the market is you have a lot of buyers, not that many sellers. And part of the reason, in my opinion, that the sellers are kind of skeptical is the uncertainty. And that's when COVID kind of comes back into play. It's so much uncertainty from the standpoint of people don't necessarily know what's next. So you don't have a lot of people who currently own a home looking to take that next step up, go into, they may be in the $200,000 range and ready to go into the $300,000 range. But just because of the uncertainty of what's going on in the economy, you have people that's not willing to make that move. So that's actually hurting the buyers. It doesn't give them as many options as they really would like.
I mean, or just look at it like this, if they sold their house, where are they going to go?
Right. And that's something that they look into as well. So that's a big thing as well. Just looking at the fact of, if I sell my home, do I have one that I'm ready to put a contract in on?
Exactly.
If they don't have that, then that's keeping people from selling homes.
Exactly.
I think you ran across a situation like that, didn't you, where you had a home that you're getting ready to put on the market, and it kind of came to a situation where people weren't ready because they didn't necessarily realize how fast that the buyers were going to come.
Well, yeah, I mean, the buyers are out there. There's no question about that. I think the home was definitely priced right, and it's in a very populated area. When, like I said, if you price the home right, the home looks good. The home is going to get sold. And this had multiple offers on just a few hours of just putting the house on the market. So homes are definitely going fast, and there are plenty of people out here that are still, working a ton of hours due to the COVID. But at the same time, there are also a lot of people that lost their jobs as well due to COVID. So that kind of tightened things up for banks. So all you, future home buyers know this right now. Banks are they're tightening up just a little bit. They
don't want another 2000 and.
Well, yeah, that's one thing. But when you think about all the people that may have lost their jobs, right? They're gonna make it a little tougher, and I don't want to say tougher, but they're just gonna make sure that the people that are applying for loans are just a little bit more qualified than they were before, due to prior to the whole COVID situation. And they're doing that just because they just want to make sure that no one gets in a default and we don't have another, like Mike said, a 2008 situation. Now, your interest rates always determines, your credit always determines your interest rates, right? So you can get a loan at 580, but to get the better rates, you're looking at one to be around the 640 range, maybe even 650. So that's what I mean by, as far as the banks, they're, a little bit more tighter than what they were before. You could get possibly a lower interest rate at a 620, but right now, because of the COVID and other factors, you want to have a 640 to get that best, a really good interest rate. I don't want to say best, not going to be prime, because you have to have, 700, credit score to get that prime interest rate, but a really good interest rate at 640, will be a really good spot to be at for all my future home buyers. All right.
Another question for you. I had someone chime in and ask me about the pre-foreclosures or foreclosures. What's your take on foreclosures? Because again, you have that many people that's trying to buy. You have that many buyers where they're even looking into the foreclosure process. Obviously, everyone wants to try to find that perfect foreclosure, because you're able to get, usually you're able to get a good deal on it. The problem with the foreclosure, going through that whole foreclosure process, is instead of dealing with the person, you're more so dealing with the bank. What's your experiences in regards to the foreclosure, and has the foreclosure market picked up, in your opinion, with everything else that's going on?
Well, the foreclosure market has not picked up, mainly because they're not doing any evictions or foreclosures right now because of what's going on. But just to kind of give you a brief explanation about the foreclosure process, I know you may have a lot of buyers and stuff that look on Zillow. They see the homes that says pre-foreclosure, right? So what's going on is that the bank, the person that owns the home, they may be a little bit behind on the payments. So what happens is that the bank, they start marketing the property as if it is coming for sale. Now, they may put pictures up, but that doesn't mean that the house is actually for sale as of yet, because it actually has to go through the full foreclosure process where the bank actually repossesses the home. There's a public auction that goes down on the courthouse steps. And after all that takes place, then they assign a realtor to the home, and then they're actually able to sell the home after the fact, after they've actually retaken possession of the home. Now, it's not a quick process, because they want to give the buyer or the homeowner every opportunity to right their self with the lender. They don't really want to kick you out of the house, but if they aren't getting payment after 3 months or 4 months, and in some cases in foreclosure it's almost a year process, or even a 2-year process, they have to take possession of the home, so to make sure that they actually able to recoup some of the losses that they've already taken. So you may see them on Zillow as they may look for sale, but they're not actually for sale until a realtor is actually assigned to it, after it goes through a public auction on the courthouse steps of whatever county or city that home is in. So foreclosures they're really good if you can wait through that process. Tax deed sales are really good if you can wait through that process. But it's always a process, and it always depends on your time frame or motivation to move into a new home or a home that has some problems that you may have to repair, which is another thing about foreclosure, because you don't really know what you're getting until it actually comes for sale. So how you see it initially on the pictures may not
be the condition that
the condition of it in when it actually comes for sale.
And then you got to think about it, especially if it's a situation where the bank is pretty much, kicking you out. You're pretty much being evicted. Sometimes you have people that are angry. They may, do some little destruction to the property. So it may end up being more work than what you really thought it was going to be. Like you said, I think you had one that took you about 2 years to close, right?
Yeah, I've done several foreclosure properties. I've done short sales. I've done a lot. And like I said, they find the homeowners,
they just vary so much.
The homeowners, they found excellent homes. The homes are really good homes. It's just that it takes time, and it's more or less when the bank is ready, you need to be ready.
I will tell you this. I closed one, it was a few years back. It was about 35 days on a foreclosure.
You did good.
That's not often. That's not common.
You did real good.
But it just lets you know just the difference. You just never really know how long it's going to take. So if you're looking into foreclosures, if that's something that you're thinking about, be ready to play the long game.
Yes.
Be prepared to play the long game.
Yeah, be prepared, and not only be prepared to play the long game, be ready if it's a short game.
Yeah. So just be prepared. So it's not always a long game.
Not
so you
at
just
all.
never really know.
You have to stay on top of the bank. Make sure that they are responding as quick as possible. Sometimes they're going to get frustrated with you giving them a call, but that's our job. That's our job as realtors, to stay on top of the banks and make sure that the process is actually going all the way through. But at the same time, your job as a buyer is to make sure that you don't jeopardize yourself by, doing unnecessary spending or something that's going to jeopardize you actually getting this foreclosure sale. Because the most important thing you have to do as a buyer is to be ready once that bank says, okay, we agree to whatever terms that you guys have laid out and stuff like that. Sometimes the bank turns the power on to the house, sometimes they don't. So sometimes it's just a real crapshoot as far as what kind of house you're getting, as far as the condition you're going to get it in. So
yeah. So ultimately, to kind of, end the part about what's going on with the market. The market is fluctuating right now. It's good for some. It's not so good for others. But real estate is pretty much about adjustments. You have to adjust to the current times. It's adjustment like everybody else is doing. I get a lot of people that reach out to me about getting their real estate license and getting in the business. And my advice to the people who are doing it is, it can be very rewarding. It can be probably the most rewarding career that you could actually choose. But at the same time, it's definitely work. It's definitely staying up on the times. It's definitely constantly evolving and growing. Even this whole podcast that we're doing now, this is still another form of real estate. But let's not get it twisted. This podcast is not just a real estate podcast. This podcast will be something that we present to the community and allow other business owners to actually come on and showcase their business. At the end of the day, most businesses that'll be here in some way, shape, or form is still real estate related.
Well, it's just business in general, sales, right? So we not only want to elevate what we do, we want to be able to chance to elevate local business owners around, as well as people, local leaders in the community as well. We don't only want to, just showcase everything about real estate, because we know there's more business out here about real estate, and it's not only about us. This is something that we want to do to elevate others as well, because if we can get you in front of a different crowd, who knows, what services you can offer them, and who knows what services we can offer, anyone in your crowd or whatever. That's kind of how networking and business go. So it's not only about us, it's also really about you the viewer, or you the business owner. So,
and relationships, like you said, networking and all of that. It's all about relationships. I think we spoke about it before. We're really big on relationships. We want to make sure that people know that whenever they think of real estate in this area, they think of us. and they think of the relationship we've formed with the people that we've been in contact with, rather it be other business owners that has nothing at all to do with real estate, but just for the most part, just us being here to be able to kind of guide them whenever and answer questions when they do have questions in regards to what we're professionals in. I have this one saying that I like to say is, I let professionals be professionals in what they're professionals in. So with that being the case, if something is wrong with my car, I don't work on cars, so I'm gonna call someone who does. But having that relationship and having that these contacts, it benefits you. It benefits us, and it's actually something that continues to help grow and evolve our business and help us evolve. And it honestly, it helps out the overall community.
It helps out the community because it gives people who didn't have an idea of what they wanted to do an opportunity to see different businesses and different things that they could possibly do, as well as show their kids different opportunities that are out here for them as well. So it's not only just the business owners. This is about different generations seeing the different opportunities or different careers that are out here that people can do, and that people that look just like you or came up in your same conditions found a way to make it through and maintain and come out better for, or just being real successful in their business. So it's more or less just showing you that whatever you want to do is going to take work, right? And just to not to sidetrack what all of that, we're going to build this platform up to a very high clip. We're gonna build this thing up really big, and I don't want you people, to miss out on your opportunity. To miss your Bitcoin moment, right? Like Bitcoin is something that took off, and a lot of people missed the bubble. Don't miss this bubble.
And we're not trying to miss the bubble ourselves.
You're at the ground level of a Bitcoin. We're looking for sponsorships. We're looking for people to come on our show and showcase their businesses. So don't miss your opportunity. All right, guys.
Relationships, man. Like I said, it really comes back down to these relationships. We want to make sure we continue to let them grow, evolve, and continue to kind of help in any way we possibly can. So like you said, we're looking for sponsors, but we also, if you're interested in being a guest on here, let us know. Let us showcase your business. We're gonna have we're gonna take a full month and just go each week. We're gonna have a new business on here, and it could be a variety of type of businesses. I mean, there's no real limit, because the biggest thing is we want to be able to be a voice, or be able to give people a platform, other business owners a platform on this podcast. So that's our purpose. That's our goal. We want to continue to push forward with everything that we're doing. So we're not going to bore you every single episode talking about real estate. It's not going to always be about real estate. It's not going to always be about us. There may be episodes that we barely talk at all, where we're just pretty much interviewing whoever's on the show. But ultimately, we want to make sure that we continue to get everybody to tune in. Make sure you like. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you
comment
on our post,
our YouTube channel. Oh yeah, make sure you check that out. We're gonna be doing this, like I said, each and every week. So be on the lookout for it. We're gonna. Hey, this is the wrap. This is episode 2, Cox Team Podcast. You're real to Keelan Cox. I'm here with my brother,
Michael Cox, Keelan Cox.
Cox Team Podcast, episode 2.
Signing out.
That's it.
Thought you was gonna start it.
No, bro.
You said
I'm Michael Cox. I'm Keelan Cox.
Go. Okay, ready. I'm Michael Cox.
And I'm Keelan Cox. And we're the Cox Team. Question of the day. Yeah, bro. What you doing?
You didn't even say who was doing the. Go ahead. I'm Michael Cox.
I'm Keelan Cox. And we're the Cox Team. Question of the day. What common misconceptions do you have about real estate? Leave it in the comment section below. I gave you the whole breakdown. I spit it for you verse by verse.
Nah,
and you still forgot.
I ain't forget. I just wasn't paying attention to you.
You forgot your name.
I ain't know I was supposed to start, so I wasn't paying attention to you.
Just come on, bro. Where your mind at, man? Yeah, you're supposed to go on the podcast, man. What's going on, bro? What's the questions? You can just throw them at me.
Yeah. How's business? How's the market been affecting? What's going on with COVID? How's that affecting your business? let people know, listen, if you ever thought about selling, if you own a home and you thought about selling and being able to get top dollar for your home,
Now's the time.
this is the time.